What's up, guys? It is Friday, and we are heading back to the gym today. First time back in training since the arm injury. As you can see, things are looking pretty good. Bruising has gone away. Everything's looking all right. I think we can, do some bicep stuff without hurting too bad. Bruising gone over here. Everything's good. We are heading back to training today, so I'm super excited. Let's head that way. Where are all my socks? I can't find any workout socks. You guys, this is a problem. All I have are long, black business socks. I can only find one sock. Why? I found them! This is so freaking dumb. Now I can't find my shoes. Where are my shoes? Guys, this is what happens when you don't train for a while. You lose your crap. Keep track of your crap. And now, I can't find my wallet. I swear, I'm not this unorganized. Like never. I found it! Yeah! I also forgot my pre-workout. And my post-workout. Now I gotta get it out of here before I forget anything else. So one of the questions that I have a tendency to get a lot is about gear that I bring with me to the gym as far as my diabetes stuff is concerned. I wanted to go over that real quick. Obviously, I bring my PDM, is what it's called, basically the controller for my insulin pump. And I've also got, test strips, lancet device, all the necessary stuff for a type 1 diabetic. When I go to work out, however, I do carry a vial of insulin, Novolog is what I take, and a syringe along with some alcohol swabs in the back. The reason for that is immediately post-workout, I tend to have something big to eat, something to spike up blood sugar. I bring this stuff because it's much quicker for insulin to get into my body via a syringe than waiting the 1 unit per minute through the pump. So I can get this done a lot quicker while I'm sitting in my truck, have my post-workout meal, my shake, my carbs, and get that done. So that is the way that I do that. So for the first venture back into the gym, since snapping my right bicep tendon in my last competition around about 3 weeks ago, I decided to go in, try something that was going to be a little bit easier on the biceps, so I decided to start out with deadlifts. Now, I don't do mixed grip deadlifts, I do strictly double overhand, so I figured that would be pretty simple, pretty easy on the bicep, let things, kind of try to feel things out and see how things went. So when I started out, we were looking at a couple sets of 155 for 8 reps, a couple sets of 5 at 265, a couple sets of 5 at 375, and then some sets of 465, which is what you're seeing here. Now, if you'll see there, that third rep was a lot of trouble. 465 is not usually a weight that I have issues with for reps at all. Recovering from this injury is difficult. Being out of the gym, being away from training is difficult. It zaps the strength right out of you sometimes. Sometimes you do need rest and you do need recovery, but actually recovering from an injury, your body's doing a lot. And what I realized, it was very humbling in this experience going back. You can see the shake there in that lift, and it was very touch and go. But we were able to get some sets in, got about 3 or 4 sets of that in. Had a few interruptions, nothing crazy, just, a couple things like this right here. Yeah.
So how does that go when you train? Because you're depleted.
But ultimately, that was just fine. I usually don't have a problem answering questions, especially concerning my type 1 diabetes in the gym. People are genuinely curious when they see the pods, they see the insulin pumps, they see the CGMs. People are curious, they've got questions. So once I was done with deadlifts, I decided to move on to something and isolate a little bit. Now, I didn't really think this all the way through, but I decided to do some machine chest presses. Maybe not the best idea considering how shoulder and bicep heavy that movement is, but I decided to start out relatively light. 45 pounds a hand is nothing, and so I gave it a shot, did a little bit of isolation type movement, and just saw how it felt. Now you can see that it felt okay, not really any big deals there. So decided to come back in and try for a set of 21s because 21s are fun. Who doesn't love doing 21s? For any of you who aren't familiar with what 21s are, you're looking at any type of movement that requires 2 arms or 2 legs. You do 7 on one hand while the other hand sits, then you switch and do 7 on the other hand while your initial hand sits, and then you move for these 7 in tandem. It's a nice move. It really gets things pumped up. It's really good at a lower weight. They're just fun to do. I've always enjoyed doing 21s. So from here, I decided to go ahead and load up another plate since those 21s felt so good, and just saw what we could bang out here. You can see it's starting to really hurt. Not terribly, but it was starting to hurt in the right bicep, the one that I tore, and decided to bang out the reps anyway, and things weren't feeling too bad. It was a little difficult, but there was some pain for sure. And, you know, just being who I am, decided to load up another 25 pounds per hand. So at that point, we were looking at 115 per hand. I think I banged out 3 reps, and the last one right here was pretty ugly. You can see that right arm started to lose power a little bit, and that's when I knew that I was done at those heavier weights. So I decided to bring it back down to 1 plate each, and just kind of do a little bit of a cash out, see, you know, how many reps we could get without wanting to die. So we moved through those reps, and it was fun. It was nice to get some isolation stuff back in, especially involving the muscles that I had just hurt. With the tendon that I just snapped, it's been difficult getting back into it. It was nice to feel kind of normal. The pain was definitely there. You can see it in my face, and you can see how much it was hurting. Now, these weren't the only things that I did. I did do some other chest movements as well, some stretching, some foam rolling, just trying to get things rocking and rolling, trying to get things moving. And, you know, sometimes you only record a little bit of it. For me, this time around, it was important for me to focus on what I was doing and not so much on getting video. So that's why that happened. But moving on. So here we are, post-gym, sitting in the truck. It was a good day. It was a good day. First day back after the bicep tendon tear over here on this arm. Things are definitely sore over on this end over here. It hurts. Things were cramping up a little bit, especially up in kind of towards the shoulder area, down kind of into the bicep right in here. So, you know, just a little bit of pain, nothing terrible. So I'm going to go ahead and shake this up, and I think we're going to talk post-workout nutrition. So let's do that.
Shake, 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 Sinora, shake your body right.
It's like a shake weight. It's like a shake weight. This is the hardest part of the whole freaking thing, is shaking this thing. You don't want any chunks. Chunks are bad. You don't want chunks. It's gross.
Somebody help me!
So first things first, post-workout, I need to test my blood sugar. Now again, I'm diabetic, obviously. That's why I'm doing this. Most people don't need to do what I'm doing. But we're going to go ahead and give it a little check here. There we go. And let's see what happens. Round and round the number goes. 125. Not too bad. A little bit higher than what I like for directly off the workout, but definitely not bad. Still in range for sure. So here's the question that I get a lot. As far as nutrition and insulin, how do you make that work? So here's what we're going to go over. We're going to go over kind of what my macros look like post-workout, and we're going to go over what that looks like insulin-wise. So here I've got 2 packets of whey protein, and what I'm paying attention to is carbohydrates. So as you can see here, if this thing will come into focus, maybe, hopefully. Anyway, I don't know if you can see that. It's 5 grams, 5 grams of carbohydrates per packet. Now I've got 2 of those packets, so that is 10 grams of carbohydrates. Now just kind of work with me here. So in here, right here, I've got 20 ounces of whole milk. Now for every 8 ounces of whole milk, we're looking at 12 grams of carbohydrates. So in 20, we're looking at 30, almost got that wrong, 30 grams of carbohydrates. So far we're at 30 here, 10 in the protein packets. And since we really want to spike up insulin needs and really drive all the protein that's in this shake into the muscles, we've got 4 bite size or fun size paydays. So this is another 42 grams of carbohydrates. So that comes to 5, 20, carry the 4. I hate math. That's not true. I love math. Maybe. So we've got 42 grams here,
plus 30 grams here, so that's 72 grams, plus the 10 that is in the protein comes to 82 grams of carbohydrates. Now, my personal ratios for insulin to carbohydrates is 1 for every 6. So if we are looking at, what was that, 82? We are looking at, let me think about this, 60, 70, 80. We're looking at right about 14 grams of carbohydrates, plus my ideal blood sugar level for myself is 100. So I drop 25 points for every 1 unit of insulin. I know there's a lot of math. Just work with me here. So we've got 14 units for the protein and the milk and the paydays. And now we're going to be handling another one unit to bring the blood sugar down. Comes to 15 total units. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to dial up 15 right here. You know, I've actually had people give me crap and tell me that, you know, taking insulin is cheating, etc., makes things easier. Anybody who thinks that, get educated. Got a needle in my skin. Needle in my skin. I'm just waiting. 15 units right in the gut. And there we go. All done. Painless. Not a big deal. All I'm doing is what your body already does naturally. Mine just doesn't do it. So, you know, feel lucky. While I'm scarfing food down, let's take a second and talk about post-workout nutrition. And let's talk about how to eat post-workout for muscle mass and for strength. So I'm going to be eating and drinking while we talk about this. So for anybody who's new to nutrition, how things work in the body, let's go over some basics, okay? So when it comes to protein getting to the muscles, why is protein important? Protein is what rebuilds your muscles after trauma, such as working out. When you tear those muscle fibers apart, you need protein to get to the muscles to fill in, you know, create scar tissue and build your muscle size. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to rebuild your muscles after you work out. As a general rule of thumb, post-workout, I try to hit roundabout, and I say roundabout, this is a very loose number, 2 grams of carbohydrates for every 1 gram of protein. It's very important for you to have insulin in your system. Insulin is what picks that protein up and shuttles it off to the muscles for recovery. It goes, here you go, you need this, let's get it where it's supposed to go and let's do it right now. So that's why you need carbohydrates right after you work out. I'm well aware of keto diets and carb cycling diets and carb night and all of that stuff. I'm telling you what works for me. When you're done working out, there is about I'd say 3-hour to 4-hour window wherein your body is optimized for taking in nutrition. Now, I've heard of the 30-minute window, and sure, within the first 30 minutes after working out, that is the best time to shove food into your system because your body is hungry for it. But if you miss that window, that doesn't mean, oh, I've missed out on my nutrition, not even worth eating, not even worth bulking. That's not the case. That's laziness. And don't do that. Don't do that. It drives me crazy. I actually had a guy tell me, I invited him to come train with me, and he said, I can't. And I said, why? And he said, I don't have any food to eat 30 minutes after I work out. What? That's an excuse. That's an excuse. Making sure that you get in a 2-to-1 ratio, carbohydrates to protein, is crucial for making sure that your muscles are rebuilding. That 3 to 4 hour window after your workout is the most forgiving time period wherein you can take nutrition in. And what I mean by that is if you're going to eat crap, if you're going to eat things like bite-sized paydays, that's the time to do it. You're amping up your blood sugar, you're spiking your blood sugar, and you are trying to shuttle protein to the muscles. That's what's important in that time. Your body is a lot more forgiving of kind of crappier foods. If you want to put it that way, I guess you could say high glycemic index foods. It's a lot more forgiving in that time period. For the next few weeks, anybody who isn't doing this, just as a general rule of thumb, and I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, don't take this as gospel, but this is what works for me, and I know that this is what works for a lot of other people. I even know some athletes that go to a 3-to-1 or a 4-to-1 ratio, carbohydrates to protein, to really spike up that blood sugar, get insulin rolling, and make sure that the protein's getting where it needs to go, as well as refilling glycogen stores, because carbohydrates are the only way to do that. And if you've just worked hard, your body's probably depleted of glycogen unless you were filling it up while you were working out with intra-workout nutrition. The stuff is pretty basic, but give it a shot. Give it a shot for 3 to 4 weeks, and I think you'll be surprised how much better you're feeling following this basic rule. That way, I'm not telling you buy these supplements, buy this thing, buy that thing, buy the other thing. Just follow this general rule. Look at the nutrition labels of what you're eating and make sure that you're getting in the right ratios. 2 to 1 works for me. 3 to 1 works for some other athletes, really intense athletes, they go 4 to 1. But for me and for a lot of other people, 2 to 1 is totally fine. So thanks for joining me, guys. Like I said, the arm is hurting a little bit, but it's finally kind of calmed down. It's stopped yelling at me a little bit. Hopefully we'll get some more training in the next week. I hope that this nutrition information was good. I hope that, if anybody has any comments, questions, anything, go ahead and write it down below. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Really trying to build it up, and any help in subscriptions is awesome. I'm not going to pander, I'm not going to beg, but thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and share this with anybody who has questions about nutrition. And again, any questions, post them down below. You can find me on Instagram at TXVikingStrength. Thank you for watching. And remember, dedication beats motivation every single time.